Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to continue with Mariah Carey's album cycle with album number 11, E equals MC squared. Before we talk about this album, I want to apologize for being a little late with this one. I was pushing myself on the brink of burnout with this series, and I had to take me a miniature break from this, then come back and regroup. When there's 14 Mariah Carey albums to cover, this will happen. But back with Mariah, I feel like she was facing some expectations after the Mimi era resurrected her career. Hopefully MC Squared can match those lofty goals. Before we begin, if you want to see music bios or more good videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Also, I've started a Patreon account. On here you get more copyrighted material and they'll be uploaded 48 hours prior to YouTube. If you want to support or visit, link is in the description. And without further ado, on to our feature presentation. I want to assume that this was slated to be a single at some point, and it makes sense. It features T-Pain, which was a high priority collaborator and producer at the time, and in this song, Mariah tries to use autotune. It was a choice, but they don't make it too bad. And the content is nothing more of Mariah going to the club and hanging out. What do T-Pain add to the song? Not much outside of fat shaming his girls, how he migrates to the home, to the car, to the club, to the bar, to the floor, and back home to do it all over again. I don't know, it's an interesting choice for an opener, and I appreciate the risk, but I'm cooler on it than I should be. It is what it is. The song that wound up being the lead-off single, and it seems like the obvious choice, but this might be her most flawed lead-off since Loverboy. But it's not all bad. Mariah's more bubbly in this song as she teases her lover, then she'll hunt him down if he brags to the homies that he scored the winning touchdown, if you know what I mean. But in all honesty, there are elements of this that works, and there are elements that don't. And that's what holds it back for me. One of the big criticisms I've read for this album review before I listened to it myself was that majority of the songs sounded like Mimi leftovers. And this song might be the first of the bunch that sounds like that. It was produced by JD, so shouldn't be this surprised. In this song, Mariah falls for a man who has 6 baby mamas, the irony, but Mariah realized that she's moving too fast and putting it on cruise control. Damian Marley shows up and warns Mariah if he puts it in cruise control, she'll miss out on a wonderful experience. Fine, but I do feel like his verse is out of place. I wouldn't call this bad, another neutrality. So far this album's off to a slow start, as every song on here is mediocre to average at this point. But I will say this is the first song that actually gets there. The content is once again a breakup song where Mariah can't fully move on from the relationship. I do have one little nitpick with this song, and it's for me because whenever I hear this song, I can't help but to think about her husband at the time, Nick Cannon. I mean, he directed the video. Overall, first good song on the album, outstanding. Side Effects is a diss song aimed at her ex-husband, Tommy Mottola, and there are a lot of hints that proves it. But since I've talked about this countless times during this journey and on my Mariah video, I won't elaborate any further. But on a song allegedly about Tommy Mottola, why feature a Jeezy verse? An artist who has nothing to do with him. I don't like his flow in the song, as he just says that Tommy Mottola is still hating on Mariah, which he was. And it goes to show you that Mariah hasn't moved on even a decade later. This kind of comes off defeating even if Mariah makes valid points. What a shame. I'm That Chick is my favorite song on the album. One, the production is very old school as it has a nice groove. 2, Mariah's confidence as, well, she's that chick. It's a perfect display on how you need to have confidence in yourself. And while I don't have much else to say about the song, this was a major highlight on this album. Another Jermaine Dupri production, so you know this sounds like a leftover from Mimi. Mariah tells a tale of 2 lovers. The girl believes he's a player and the guy isn't ready to settle down, so it looks like the love fails. Then the second verse comes in and they actually fall in love. Mariah vocally seems all over the place as she interpolates a Hurricane Chris song, and this song could have been great, but it's not. It leaves off to should have been way better. I'll Be Loving You Long Time is another forgotten single. I just realized outside of Touch My Body, the other singles weren't really that notable. This is a Mariah being on a ride or die for her partner, telling him not to worry, as long as I love you, I got you. And this is another song that Mariah contemplates safe, but it comes off just good enough for me to re-listen. Once again, Jermaine Dupri's production sounds like another Mimi leftover. Sounds like another trial run of We Belong Together, and it's Mariah trying to cling on to this love as she's hoping and confident that they'll meet again and share a kiss. There isn't much else to this song. It comes off kind of boring. In other words, it's forgettable. Let's move on. More JD production, and this one sounds like it came from the 90s camp. Mariah feels like her lover is playing with her emotions and she feels like she's being used. And this is another song that's more boring than bad. So this song pretty much lives up to its namesake. Alicia Keys' future husband joins the party, and I tried to figure out what OOC stood for. I initially thought it was out of character, but in this case it stands for out of control. Even though I like the Swiss Beats production, this is a perfect title. Mariah, in her terms of out of control, is her emotions for this guy or former lover. There are indications of both. I honestly don't know how to feel about this. There's just something there that's not clicking for me, and leaves me off wanting to like this way more than I should. Another song that talks about a past lover and how they're still meant to be, and at this point I'm starting to get tired of this subject matter. I feel like I've done multiple songs on this journey with this subject matter. I mean, the rest of the song has a ton of potential for me to get on board, but Mariah can talk about current love than past loves. I think that'll be a good thing. Bye Bye is a song dedicated to all the loved ones she lost in the past, but mostly her father, as she already talked about on Charm Bracelet. She mentions that he didn't get a chance to see how big she become or how she grown as a person. She knows that the bye is only temporary and she'll see him again in the afterlife. Mariah made sure that fans could connect with this, especially those who lost close loved ones in the past. And with that, I don't have any major issues with this one. It was well executed. Final song of the album, and it's a piano ballad. And this song is about Tommy Mottola yet again, but there's a stark difference between this and Side Effects. It feels like she comes to terms with him and the failed relationship. She gives him some scriptures of encouragement like Proverbs 19:29, John 4:4, and Philippians 4:9, with that one being the only one I'll quote for you. And that scripture said, "Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put in practice, and the God of peace will be with you." And I think this is a great summary for the song as a whole. I love when Mariah closed albums with these piano ballads. I don't mind this one, not one bit. And that concludes this album review. So yeah, I did not get the same feeling with this compared to the Mimi album. For one, I felt like some of the songs had the same subject matter, while the others feel like there were, well, fillers. Not bad fillers, just little to grip me in. Not too many standout moments, and for that reason, the best I could do is a 6 out of 10. And did any of you notice that I'm starting to run out of things to say about these Mariah Carey songs? Hopefully that won't be the case for Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel. And that concludes the E=MC² album review. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. What is your favorite song from this album? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.